All right, everyone, let's go ahead and do this. This is chapter 9, homework number 5, number 58. Graph the inequalities below on graph paper. Right, that's all it says. So obviously I do not have graph paper, so I will have to construct my own graph. So here's my x-axis, here's my y-axis, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I need a little bit more. And 5. Okay, and I don't really need to do in the other part of the axis. So the graph, I'm going to have to start with my y-intercept, which is this number right here. That's my y-intercept. So I'm going to start at positive 5. Remember, y-intercept is the number on the y-axis, and x-intercept is the number on the x-axis. So in this case, the 5 is the number on the y-axis, which is a positive 5. Okay, and from there, your slope is going to be this number here, whatever that's in front of the x. Okay, that's your slope. And that's a negative 1. So negative 1 is actually a negative 1 over 1. Meaning that I'm going to go down 1 and then over to the right once. Right? And then that's my, that's going to be my graph. Okay, so my graph is going to be between those 2 points. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. And before I draw a line, I'm going to go ahead and take note that this inequality is less than or equal to, which means that it's actually equal to the line itself. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this with a solid line. Oops, actually, it's more like this. It's going to come down and it's going to hit it all the way out here. Okay, it really doesn't matter. You're just doing the best you can, but I know a little bit of something. So, and we want to test a point, and you can test any point you want, but there's an easy point. That's going to be the point 0, 0. Okay, and what that means is you're going to put 0 in for x and 0 in for y. That's what 0, 0 means. And you're going to work that out and see if it's true or not. So this comes out to be 0 less than equal to 0 plus 5. Okay, and 0 plus 5 comes out to be 5. So this comes out to be 0 less than or equal to 5. And that is actually true. Which means when I need to figure out which side to shade on, I'm going to shade on the same side as that 0, 0. So I need to shade everything over here. Okay, so that's my graph. Letter B. Okay, again, I'm going to do the same setup. This one, I need a little bit more on the bottom. Just a little bit more, not too much more. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my marks in. So I need to have at least negative 1. And then I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't need anything on the left side. So again, I'm going to start over again. I'm going to go ahead and start with my y-intercept, which is that number right there. That's my y-intercept. So that's my y on my y-axis. Then I'm going to need to put a point at negative 1. And from there, this is my slope, which means that I'm going to go up 2 and over 3. Okay, so I went up 2 and over 3. And fractions, you think it's difficult, but for slope, fraction is actually really easy. I welcome fractions, right? Fractions help you on the slope. Okay, and then before I draw my line, because normally I should draw my line like this, I'm looking at this inequality and it doesn't have an underline, which means it's not equal to. So if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead and just draw my line as a dotted line or dashed line, however you want to call it. I say dotted, but I hear people call it dash as well, because it is dash. Okay, and again, just like the previous round, we're going to pick a point. Easiest point to pick is 0, 0. And you're going to put that point into your inequality. So you can put 0 for x right there and 0 for y right there, and you're going to work this out. So this comes out to be 0 greater than 0 times 2/3 is still 0 minus 1. And this says 0 is greater than, and 0 minus 1 is just a negative 1. So this says 0 is greater than negative 1, and that is absolutely true. So we're going to go ahead and shade in on the same side as that red dot. So we're going to shade on the same side as that red dot. So that means it's everything up over here. It's going to be shaded. Right? Because remember, if it's true, you're going to shade towards it. Okay, 59. Solve each equation. Be sure to check all of your solutions. Okay, so in order to solve this, we're going to go ahead and do this two different ways. One way would be a negative, and one way would be a positive. And this is usually how I do it. I usually do the positive first, but that's just me. I usually start with, and I copy it exactly the same way. No bars, though, no absolute value bars, and just copy everything the way it is. The other one, the negative one, is going to be, I'm going to copy it, no bars, except I'm going to be using negative 39. And this is an equality, so it will still be an equal, but just be negative 39. Then I'm going to solve each one separately. Right? So this one, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 9. Okay? By doing that, I get 3x equals negative 39 and negative 9. If I add them, I get negative 48. Okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and divide it by 3. These cancel, and I get x equals, and then I'm going to go ahead and in your calculator or in your head, whatever you want to do, go negative 48 divided by 3, and you should get negative 16. Sorry, I don't have a calculator out to show you, but that's what I got. Okay. On the blue side, the positive side, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to subtract 9. Those are going to cancel. And I'm going to have 3x equals 39 minus 9 is 30. Okay, notice that it's not the same thing, but just opposite. Okay, it's going to be usually different answers. Okay, and then divided by 3 both sides. So x and 30 divided by 3, you're going to use a calculator, but most of us know this is 10. That's our answer. So if we're going to graph it, actually we're not even graphing it. We just need to check our answers. So we have, so the original one, right? The original, we have absolute value 9 plus 3x equals 39, right? So we check negative 16. If we put negative 16 right here, okay, so we're going to have to figure out what 3 times negative 16 is, right? So that's negative 48. So we will have absolute value of 9 plus negative 48. And is that equal to 39, right? So 9 plus negative 48, right? So you go negative 48, and you add 9 to it, you get negative 39. And is that equal to 39? So the absolute value of negative 39 is also 39, which is equal to 39. So that checks off. So that one works, right? So negative 16 works. And now we're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to go ahead and do it with 10. So with 10, we're going to go ahead and put in 10 right here. By doing that, I get absolute value of 9 plus 3 times 10 is going to give us 30. And absolute value, 9 plus 30 is going to be 39. And that's going to equal, and again, you copy down to 39. And the absolute value of 39 is 39, which is equal to 39. So this side, you're just copying it down. And this side right here on the left, you are actually doing the work. So since it works, that is your answer. Okay. Oh, for some reason C did not copy through. Let me check. Yeah, it didn't copy, so you can ignore that on your homework. Okay, this is the digital copy, but I'm looking at the one I gave out in class, and it's also not there. So, okay, so we could just skip C. I apologize, everyone. I know how bummed out you are that you didn't get to work on C. Right? So this one here, we're gonna go ahead and do this two different ways as well. One of them, we're gonna go ahead and do it right here, and the other one, we're gonna go ahead and do it over here. All right, so again, I always start with the positive, so the positive tens with a positive answer. So it's going to be negative. So I'm going to copy everything. 3x plus 9 equals 10. And that one, I'm going to copy exactly the way it is. No absolute value bars. The negative one, I'm going to go ahead and copy exactly the way it is. And so negative 3x plus 9. And then I'm just going to copy as negative 10. And that's the only difference. Okay, now you're going to solve each one separately or together. It's up to you if you're pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 9. Subtract 9. Now we get negative 3x equals negative 19. Okay, and this is not going to be pretty, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and divide it by negative 3. These are going to cancel. And again, I'm going to get x equals negative 19 divided by negative 3 is going to give me 19 over 3. Okay, and that's my one answer. Okay. My other answer, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 9. It's the same thing that I did over here. Okay, cancel. Now we get negative 3x equals, and that's going to give me 10 minus 9 is 1. And then I'm going to do the same thing. That's the idea over here. I'm going to divide by 3. Negative 3. Excuse me. And that's going to cancel, and I'm going to get my final answer of x equals negative 1/3. That negative on the bottom right here, I can bring it to the front, or I can bring it to the top, or I can leave on the bottom like the way it is. But I am going to bring it to the front and call it negative 1/3. Okay, I'm going to check my answer. So my answer right here, I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. So this is absolute value of negative 3x plus 9. And that should equal 10, right? If I'm correct. If I am correct, it should give me 10. So first, I'm going to go ahead and put 19/3 right in there. So this is going to come out to be absolute value of negative 3 times 19 over 3. And then plus 9. And hopefully that equals 10. I'm just copying down this right-hand side. Just remember that. I'm just copying it down. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to keep copying it. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so right-hand side, I'm going to keep copying it. Left-hand side is what I keep working on. Okay, so it depends on which side you're working on, but in this case, I'm working on the left-hand side. If I'm looking here, I can cancel the 3 on top and 3 on the bottom, which is going to give me absolute value of negative 19 plus 9. And negative 19 plus 9 is the absolute value of negative 10. And is that equal to 10? And the absolute value of negative 10 is just 10. So that actually works. So this answer, 19 over 3, check. That works. Go ahead and pause it or rewind it if you need to. Okay, rewind the video if you need to. Okay, and next I'm going to go ahead and plug in negative 1/3 right in here. So I'm going to plug in negative 1/3 right in there. So I'm going to go ahead. And again, this whole time I'm trying to make it equal 10. Right? And if it is equal to 10, then that means I got this. Okay, so I'm going to put in negative 1/3. So I have an absolute value of negative 3 times negative 1/3 plus 9. Right, and what I'm doing is I can cancel the 3's out, and heck, I can even go negative times negative is positive. So I have absolute value of positive 1, because that's what we have left right there, plus 9. That gives us absolute value of 10. Oops, I don't need that many. And the absolute value of 10 is just 10. So 10 is equal to 10, and that does work. Check. So that means that this answer also works. Check. Okay. Okay, that's the next one, number 60. Okay, so this is a big word problem. You have to read it and really understand it. So read it a couple times. Don't let me ruin it for you. Allegro has decided to take out an advertisement in the UN newspaper, Daily Liberty. The newspaper charges a base fee of $1,200 or $1,200 for the ad. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. It's going to be $1,200 for the ad. Okay, that's base. That means that no matter what you do, if you want the ad, you're going to have to pay that much. Okay, that's a minimum amount. There is an additional fee of $300 for every inch of height. So you're going to pay $300. So you're going to add for every inch of height. So times it by the h. So if it's only 1 inch, then it's going to be 1,200 plus 1 times 300. So it'll be 1,500. Right? If it's 2 inches, then it'll be 300 and 300. So it'll be 600 plus 1,200. Right? So you get the idea. All right. If Allegra is willing, or Algeria, if Algeria is willing to spend any amount up to and including 2,700, so 2,700, okay, and that means that that's the most, and they want including. That means that's, it's going to be equal, and the most is going to be 2,700. So they actually want to spend less than that, okay, but the most they'll spend is 2,700. So up to that much. What choices does the country have for the height of the ad? Okay, so this, we're just going to solve it. So to do this one, we're going to go ahead and subtract 1,200. Okay, doing the math. So we have 300 height. Zeros can't, let's see, 12 to 27, right? So 7 minus 2, so this makes 0, 0. 7 minus 2 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1, 1,500. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and solve this some more by dividing by 300. And get h less than equal to, and then these cancel. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Right, so h has to be less than or equal to 5. So if Algeria wants to spend 2,700, they can have it add up to 5 inches. Right, so I'm going to say Algeria can have an add up to and including 5 inches. Okay, if they do use 5 inches, then they'll spend 2,700. If they do use less than 5 inches, then they'll spend less.